From our discussions in previous modules, we know that Java offers references that have special meaning, like null and this. Another one of those special references is the super reference. Like this, super provides access to the current object. But where super is different is that super treats that object as if it's an instance of its base class. And it allows us to access the features of the object as if our current class has not overridden any of those features. And this comes in really handy when we're implementing something in our current class and we want to get to the features or a method exactly as they behaved in the base class. Let's take a look here at our flight class. As you recall from the previous clip, we've overridden the equals method to compare two flight instances based on the flight identification information, the flight number and flight class. But let's look at some code here. Let's say we go ahead and we create an instance of flight with a flight number of 175 and assign that to F1. And then we declare another reference, F2, and assign it F1. So now F1 and F2 are pointing to the exact same flight instance. So now if we say if F1 equals passing in F2, right, that's going to call into our equals method. And now what's it going to do? Right, it's going to go through everything we've written inside of equals. Right, it's going to first make sure it's actually an instance of flight. It's then going to cast the flight passed in, and then we're going to compare the values of flight number and flight class. Now in this case, the work that we're doing there is not that substantial, but in some cases, an equals method may actually have to test a lot of things. In a complex object, there may be a number of fields to compare and other operations that you have to go on. The thing is that we know the base class object implements a version of equals that just checks to see if two references point to the same object. And reference comparisons like that are actually really inexpensive. So it would be great if inside of our equals method, maybe what we could do here is say, well, if the reference passed in points to the same object that we currently do, well, we know they must be equal because they're the same object. Let's just get out of here. So let's update our equals method to do that. So let's go ahead and make a little room inside of our equals method here. And what we'll do is put an if at the very beginning, and we'll simply say equals passing in O, and if that returns true, we'll then in turn return true. Now, of course, the problem here is that as we've written this, when we call equals inside this if statement, what we're going to do? We're going to call back into our own equals method, which will then again call back into our own equals method and just do that repeatedly, actually until we crash with an error. What we really want to do is at this point call equals as it was implemented in our base class, right? And that's where the super reference comes in. So we go ahead and move that equals over and we put super in front of it. What will happen now is that when we call into the flight implementation of equals, the first thing that we do inside of that implementation is call into our base class implementation, which compares to see if both references point to the same object. If they do, we just exit out of here. If we didn't, we would then go through and do the other tests that we've built inside of our equals implementation. So we've been able to access that base class behavior when we wanted to, but still have our overridden behavior when we needed it.